I delighted in watching the horrific breakdancing display of Raygun at the Paris Olympics, and it was, unfathomably terrible. And what was really interesting for me was looking into it. At first I thought maybe it's someone doing it as like a spoof to get the meme, to get the press coverage, they're playing the long game. But the more I looked into it and the more was kind of revealed, no, wait. The woman was like an Australian academic. She'd kind of written her PhD about kind of breakdancing, What she'd done is she'd tried to kind of explain away her lack of technical ability and talent by conceptualizing her breakdancing. And you know what? For someone who's been doing photography now for like 25 years, it's a very familiar story because it's exactly what they've done to photography, okay? If you're not really savvy to it, the world of photography, like since the late 90s, has been dominated in the arts by fine art conceptual photography, literally photographing the corner of a floor, that kind of stuff, right? Yeah, really just wildly, totally non-aesthetic, horrific, bad photography, and yet that is king. That's selling for tens of thousands of pounds. That's the best way you can do it. So how did we get here? Right, 3 things. First of all, education. Traditionally, people go to art college in the UK and they'd study art or they'd study photography, and it'd be very practical. It'd be a very practical exercise. People would be painting in studios, people would be making photographs, doing actual things, right? Doing. This got basically wiped out when all the colleges all thought, oh, degrees are coming. We've all got to make our courses degrees. We've all got to make our courses degrees, right? And they jumped on that. And for the art-based courses to become degrees, they had to have very strong written elements. Can you see where this is going? Suddenly, all the students who are trailblazing, pyro geniuses of the physical realm, making art, making great work, they were having to write essays, and it was destroying them. It was not in their skill set. That was not something they could do. Meanwhile, all the students who were very academic and totally not creative, couldn't draw, couldn't create, couldn't tap into that fire, they were doing great now because they were getting great results in their essays. Fast forward 20, 30 years, all those people who were successful in that kind of art world are now installed in universities, in galleries, in funding organisations with this strong mindset of conceptual art and conceptual photography. So now, the game is rigged and run by those people who are just terrible at their practice. They had no actual technical abilities or artistic skill or anything creative, but they had the ability to write and create the word soup salads that you'll see painted and printed up against all pieces of art in most contemporary art galleries you walk into. Now, another problem as well is thanks to the YBAs, who are the young British artists, this movement of conceptual artists in the late sort of 90s, like Damien Hirst, all the emphasis also in that whole world has become very much about commerce. So, art being sold for huge sums of money. And again, we're in this weird game here, whereas same in art photography, once people are selling their work for crazy amounts of money, that's it. They're in the club. That is not reduction, that is not going away. That has been totally validated by the ultimate bottom line, which is that rubber stamp that this is worth a lot of money. Okay. So for me, in a way, I was delighted to see that someone, Raygun, tried to play that conceptual bullshit at the Paris Olympics doing conceptual breakdancing and literally fell flat. Well, not quite flat, like flailing around flat, but it didn't work, did it? We're not all now talking, being like, wow, yeah, they were really original. They did something really original there. That's why it's great. Like, no, it's not. There's this sort of preset thing of breakdancing that has also not just originality, but amazing technical skill, like visually awe-inspiring thing, huge, amazing feats of physical prestidigitation. That's a word, I think. Anyway, but incredible. It's a spectacle, right? And like, what was her thing? It wasn't at all. And best of all, she's unrelenting. She believes it. Yeah, and that's also, again, the state of kind of the art world and the art photography world. These sort of artists using photography to create work that is really bad, like terribly, terribly bad and brazen and entitled and defended by the photoland like elites, right? Here's my theory of why we're never going to beat them, okay? It goes a bit like this. Let me try and do this in 2 parts. Right, here we go.
Haroldine, we've got a problem. What's that, George Muir? Digital photography has become really egalitarian. They're really getting quite good, you know, those people that we don't like. Yes, it is going to be a problem. What are we going to do? We can't have everyone being really good at photography. I've got it. We'll make bad good. What do you mean, make bad good? Well, if we make bad photography good, then 2 things. 1, we're in charge because we're dictating what's good even when it's bad, and the artists will be terrified because they must know they're bad and we have all the control. And secondly, no one in their right mind would make bad art. Brilliant idea, Gerald Muir. So how are we going to go about it? Well, if people try to get into Photoland with good work, we'll say, no, that's not good, we like bad. Splendid. Yes, that's a pretty good idea. But there is one catch. What's that? Well, what if they work it out and they start making bad work? Well, don't you see, Gerald Muir? Then it's just bad. We're the ones dictating whether the bad work's good. Terrific, we win.
Something like that, okay? The point is that if bad is good, how can you ever compete? You can't, can you? You'll try and make something really good, and they'll say, oh, no, we don't like good, we like bad. And if you try to met them on that level, and then you did bad stuff, well, you know what? You're not in the club, so it's just bad. A great example of this are artists right now making art with AI command prompts, and these people are selling AI Mid-Journey made images for thousands of pounds. And the reason they're getting away with it because they're these art photographers in Photoland. If George next door did it, no one's spending thousands for George AI prompts. And it just, that's it in a nutshell, okay? So that's where we're at. And I don't know the way around it. It's not something that I've ever been able to crack. I'm just another jobbing photographer. But I do like to make good work. And I think that's the reward. But it does suck a bit, doesn't it? But anyway, if you've got any ideas about how we could sort of deconceptualize art and deconceptualize photography and just make photography good again, make bad again, make bad photography bad again. No, make good photography good again. Yeah, we could do that, couldn't we? So yeah, in the comments, let me know, how do we make good photography good again? Thank you. Rant over. You passed the test, we can be friends.